Thank you for watching us on YouTube. But did you know that if you're on the go, you can get the full show as a podcast now? You can get our morning breakdown of the most important topics facing our country, news not being covered by the mainstream media, interviews with change-making progressives, and info on what you can actually do about all this. Search for The Damage Report on your favorite podcast app and subscribe so you know when new episodes are ready to go. While Hurricane Florence is still coming, we are still dealing with some of the fallout from Hurricane Maria. And thankfully, although it took forever, the media took a long time to take seriously how much damage actually was done to Puerto Rico in that hurricane last year and how many lives were actually taken. The official death count stood at 64 month after month after month, even though we knew relatively early on that far more people had been killed both in the storm and in the immediate aftermath of that storm. And now multiple reports, including both the US government, Puerto Rico's internal review, and external analysis, including by Harvard University, say that somewhere around 3,000 people died in the storm and because of the storm. So we know that now. That is a settled fact, except not when it comes to the President of the United States, who, despite the fact that his own government has helped to generate those numbers, does not believe that they are remotely true. This might seem absurd, but he tweeted this morning: 3,000 people did not die in the 2 hurricanes that hit Puerto Rico. When I left the island after the storm had hit, they had anywhere from 6 to 18 deaths. As time went by, it did not go up by much. Then, a long time later, they started to report really large numbers, like 3,000. This was done by the Democrats in order to make me look as bad as possible when I was successfully raising billions of dollars to help rebuild Puerto Rico. If a person died for any reason, like old age, just add them on the list. Bad politics. I love Puerto Rico. So Shivala Madlina joins me in studio now. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
The president does not believe that these numbers are accurate. He thinks that just anybody who died for any reason was able to successfully fool Harvard and Puerto Rico's government, which fought this higher number coming out for a long time, but it was just a political plot to make him look bad. What do you think?
First of all, going back to his tweet, what was this about raising billions of dollars to rebuild Puerto Rico?
Because in his mind, he did not ignore the tragedy month after month, refusing to actually produce the resources needed to stop people from dying. He instead was raising tons of money.
Right, so is it a tragedy that requires billions of dollars to rebuild, or did nothing happen? Like just a few people died? I don't understand.
What did we need the billions for?
Yeah, I don't understand. I genuinely am, I'm genuinely asking, but why am I doing that? Because we're taking things as if he's a good faith actor. Listen, even during Hurricane Katrina, there was still not like just an abject denial of death tolls. I mean, there was tussling over, and people tried to keep things, I mean, we certainly you had the Bush administration over Iraq death tolls and things like that. We don't do body counts.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, and this is just the same thing. It's just, I don't know why he thinks that reality doesn't exist, though. I'll never understand that. Or that,
I mean, there are some people, like some sociopaths only see things through their own lens, and they think that the world only exists insofar as they experience it, and it's all about them. Basically, causality works in regards to them. So those people could not have died because that would make him look bad, and so they didn't die. And the people who are saying that they died could only be doing it to hurt him. Everything is in relation to him. And he's said a lot of absurd things, a lot of horrendous and offensive things over time. But coming out and saying, you have been lied to, thousands did not die, we don't have any lessons to learn, we don't have to do better next time because we aced it last time, ignore all of objective reality and all of that, this didn't happen, is right up there at the top of the list. Because now, it doesn't matter what I say or what Shivala says. It doesn't matter, the mayor of San Juan said that he was delusional, paranoid, and unhinged from any sense of reality. Trump is so vain that he thinks it's about him. No, it is not. Well, thank you, Carmen, but it doesn't matter. Something like 20 to 30% of the country will never accept those numbers now. Those 3,000 numbers, forget about that. For a third of the country, they don't exist, they're not accurate.
Well, I'm just curious to see, there's going to be another, I mean, there's a hurricane coming off the coast of mainland, and that's Trump territory as well. And so are numbers not gonna be real when they hit the Carolinas? I'm just curious to see how he handles objective. I don't know how much more of an objective fact something can be than somebody died from a hurricane or from a natural disaster. So I'm just curious to see how he's going to handle that when it actually hits Trump country.
Yeah, and one of the reasons that I focus on things like this, I know some people get annoyed by it, so I apologize for that. But one of the reasons I focus on it is there are still people out there who either by kind of sticking their fingers in their ears or their head in the ground, are trying to convince themselves that things are still the same as they've always been. Things were always bad. It doesn't matter if people say they're worse. It doesn't matter if 3,000 people died this time and 1,500 died last time. It's still fundamentally the same thing. So really, don't worry about anything. No, if the president is disputing his own government's numbers for natural disaster deaths, that is actually new. Things are worse in some fundamental ways. So in effect, Donald Trump has done two things. People tend to focus on one or the other. So he has both taken the lid off of the awfulness and corruption and immorality of our government. That is true. It is more obvious under him. It is also true that it is more corrupt, more immoral, more awful. Both of those things are true at the same time. And for us to properly fight back against what's happening, we need to be able to acknowledge that.
Right, and I just don't understand how he's going to. I mean, there's going to be people that are going to have to deal with re-election, and the way that natural disasters are handled. Also, I believe that I can't remember which of the Carolinas it was, but there's been an active tussle in the state legislature there over the last couple of years, fighting against. There are people in the body trying to pass measures that will put aside money for emergency funds, for disaster relief, and for just disaster preparedness. No. Can't have it. Why? Yes. Why?
And one of them also passed a bill, I think 6 years ago, saying that we are not allowed to use climate science for anything having to do with sea level rise, which obviously influences storm surges and disasters like hurricanes.
But I don't know how much more.
Ignore the science.
Yeah, I don't know how much more direct democracy can get than like your representatives literally want you to drown. I don't know how that's going to work for them.
You can support or not support a politician for many reasons, but it should really be at the top of the list their willingness to let you die. If they don't care about the continuation of your life, don't donate to their campaigns. Don't organize for them. Don't knock on doors if they won't literally save you from death. Anyway, okay.
They just want to put us in a hobbit home, so I'd rather die than live in a smaller home.
As long as it's not near the coast, that might be an improvement. Probably more insulation, better energy efficiency in hobbit homes. Thank you very much for watching this clip from The Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notified of our new videos. And catch The Damage Report every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.